This is Luna Simonson, and you're welcome. If you haven't subscribed yet, you are missing out. Please do subscribe. I have so much to talk about on this channel. Yes. So, yeah, without wasting much of the time, I want to talk about something that I would like to relate, how people live here and how we live in Zambia. I'm talking about the countries. I'm relating to Zambia and Sweden. Usually, I don't like to talk to say Africa. I don't want to make it general. I like to talk about Zambia because that's my country, and I like to talk about where I live, and this is Sweden. So I don't want to say in Europe. I don't know how other people live in other countries, all right? So I'm very particular with that. That's just me. So yeah, this has come up because someone was asking me if I could help with helping them to write an invitation letter for them so they can come here. And what was she saying? She said she has found, some job of some kind, which I don't want to involve myself into because issues to do with job require a lot of paperwork. For example, one has to have a work permit, the visa for coming to work in Sweden, and I don't know for how long. I wouldn't like to involve myself in such issues. So yeah, and then that brought about, when I was explaining to this person, I made know that here we don't just live anyhow. The authorities, as soon as you step a foot in Sweden, you have to have an address where you're going to live. For example, they want to know where you are going to live. No one just lives anyhow, I know sometimes people think the same way things work in, for example, my country, Zambia, is the same way things work here. For example, one just, it's like you are coming from the Copper Belt and you want to live in Lusaka, and, you don't even have an address, exact address where you're going to reside. Yeah, it's just an example that I've just given. Yeah, that's not possible. Here, every human being and every dog, if a pet can have an address, it's a serious issue here. Yeah, so each and everyone who lives in these countries have an address, and that address is registered, and everything that has to do with that person is registered. There's no secret, in short. Let me put it that way. There's no secret here. Yeah, so for example, why do I say there is no secret? It's because you can't hide from anything here. The address where you are registered, to reside, it's a very serious issue that one cannot cheat. For example, how it happens when it comes to addresses, it works like this. Yeah, you live in Sweden, you have an address. For you to get that address, you have a social security number, which you have to present to the authorities, which is going to be entered into the computer system for the residents of Sweden. So if you don't have the social security number, which you obtain from the tax offices, I don't know, tax offices, I don't know if it's civic center in Zambia, I don't know. Sometimes when one has lived in these countries and the terms that are being used are Swedish, trying to translate, it becomes wrong sometimes. But the authorities, like for example, where one gets the national registration card, those are the authorities that take care of these things, like to give you a social security number. And that social security number which you get from them doesn't come on a silver plate. You have to fulfill certain requirements, Yeah. So some people have no social security number when, for example, they've just arrived from their countries, to relocate to Sweden. Without a social security number, you can't even be attended to at the hospital, or you can't even be enrolled in school. Mostly the names are not even used, because we use if they want to know who we are. For example, they just go in the computer and they write your social security number, and every detail about you will come. So this brings me to the seriousness of this issue. I just want to say it, like a summary kind of. If, for example, someone knows my full names, the official full names, why I said there is no secret in these countries. If someone knows my full names, that is my first and my last name. The middle names don't really matter in this case. So when there are some websites which only Swedish people know, when you write the name of a person and their last name, the details of that person will be shown. For example, it will say how old that person is, who lives at that address. If, for example, some people like to not tell the truth. I don't want to use bad words. I try to avoid. So if some people are used to not telling the truth, they will find out the truth, because the truth is what is registered. So they will know who lives at this address where I live, for example, and how old is that person, and what relationship do I have with that person. Does that person work or he doesn't work? The address you are living at, is it your house or you have just bought it? How many cars are there at the address, and which year were they manufactured? What color, what make of the car? Do you have a lot of information? Do you have pets? For example, if you have dogs, the dog is also registered at the same address automatically, And what race, what breed, whatever you call it, what race is that dog? Sometimes they even write how long you had that dog. They'll also find out if the people living at that address are married. And if they are not married, they're just living together, they'll say it. And sometimes they'll even say how long have they lived at that address and how long have they been married, if they are married. And if they are children younger than 18 years old, maybe 16 years old, it doesn't show, because those are minors. But if there is a child, let's say I have a child who's 16 years old, it will also show that this child is also living at this address, So it's a lot of information concerning the addresses in Sweden. Here, you don't just come from somewhere, you land, and then you just, go in the hideout and you stay somewhere. There is no staying anywhere here. You have to be at the address. They do this for many reasons. I think one of the reasons is to just have control of who is living where. In case something happens to this person, it's very easy to trace. Let's say I'm driving a car and I'm involved in the car accident. They'll just check my social security number and they'll find out the details about me. And they'll contact, people who are connected to me, and many, many other reasons. So that lady who was asking if I could invite them here, first of all, even if I wrote an invitation letter, they are going to find out how many bedrooms does our house have. How many children do we have? They don't want people to live in a way that is not comfortable. Let's say we've got 5 bedrooms, okay? And we want to invite this person. And already, let's say we've got 4 children already. Just give you an example. That means each child has got a bedroom, right? Yeah. So they will not give us permission to invite the 5th person when there's no bedroom for that person. They want people to be comfortable as they are living. Yeah. So I had, it's not easy to explain these things to people who have no idea of how these things work, you know. But I tried my best, and sometimes people think, she just doesn't want to invite me because of certain reasons. No, it's just telling what it is. So many things are so straightforward. Yeah. So when you ask someone to write an invitation letter for you, first of all, that person who's going to write an invitation letter for you is going to be scrutinized so much. A lot of things about that person. They will find out what I do for a living, how much I get paid per month, per year, if I've got any debts, have I paid them off, I'm still paying them, how much money do I have in my account, in my own name. And it's not money that is going to be put, you know, it's money that you've been saving, reflecting, you know, in the bank account. They don't want people to cheat. Do you have money to support this person you're going to invite? If not, you're not going to be allowed. That person is not going to get a visa, you know, whichever visa that person is looking for. So, I don't know. It's so much to do, and it's so much involved in these invitation letters. So one, of course, for example, I've invited my sister before coming to just to visit here. They did scrutinize me, okay? Was I able to provide for my sister as she was going to be here? Even if my sister is coming for 2 weeks, I have to provide, you know, proof that I'm going to take care of my sister. You know, they don't want to be, for example, they give someone a visa and then they come here and then they get stranded. You know, they want to make sure as I invite someone, I'm capable of taking care of that person. They don't want, of course, they have money to support people who are stranded, but not unnecessarily, you know. They can help someone who's really, really stranded, not in a situation where you invite someone and you fail to take care of them. That they're not very much interested in. So when you guys who want to relocate to some countries, now I'm talking about Sweden because I am in Sweden, I'm not talking about any other country, you have to know that an invitation letter, of course, yes, it's very easy to write and invite someone, but the authorities, when they come in, then it becomes very complicated, and you have to prove, I have to prove, the person inviting you has to prove. This is why you see people being denied visas, you know, multiple times, because the ones inviting them have not fulfilled the requirements. So it's all these things. It's not that someone doesn't want to invite you. No, it's not like that. It's these things. The address, how is that person going to be taken care of? Are they going back? What's the proof that they're going back? Or if they're coming for work, which company is going to employ this person? Oh, it's too much job. So some things look very easy when people say, just please invite me. Sometimes I find it, I get very lazy to reply to such messages in my inbox, both on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or maybe YouTube. Yeah. So I will try and compile some of these things that people ask so oftenly and just try to let you understand how things work here. Okay? Yeah, because it's not as easy as it sounds. So my sister, the one who was asking me to invite you, it's too much work, and Sometimes one feels like it's gonna be too much. It's too much. It needs a lot of patience, to do these things. Yeah, it's not a thing to start if you you're not ready. Yeah. So anyway, I'll end here for now. I'll look for more stuff to talk about that you can learn one or two things from. Yeah, and I'll just say what it is. I am not going to beat about the bush. I'll just say the truth, and this is the truth. If something is possible, I will say it the way it is. All right. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Have a pleasant day. Bye bye from me.